it was not favorable for me in any way.
Of course.
I got to spend 3 years as Secretary of Commerce in Oklahoma, and I was speaking at a large conference in Oklahoma City, and I would always say that we bought the bank at the worst time in the last 50 years, okay? Well, this Oklahoma City University economist gets up after me and says, Mr. Secretary, with all due respect, you did not buy the bank at the worst time in the last 50 years. And I thought, well, that's odd. Boy, it sure felt like it was the worst time. And he puts up this huge slide with all kind of ratios and analysis. And he goes, no, ladies and gentlemen, I've studied this in depth. And the secretary bought the bank at the worst time ever in the history of mankind. Literally, in the United States, there's never been a worse day. He picked the worst day in the history of mankind because what had happened is everything hadn't hit yet. Okay, so we buy the bank, we sign the contract in the fall of 2007, everything's still great. Then you begin to see a little bit of, cracks in the foundation. Things are getting a little tougher, but we're already committed to buy it. I've already left my job. I've already raised the money. And so by the time you get to April 1st, when we bought the bank and finally closed on it, things were going down a little bit. And then they literally fell off a cliff. I mean, if you saw this in a graphical form, that I've compared the Dow Jones Industrial Average to when I bought the bank, it is uncanny. I mean, it is literally like the day I bought the bank, everything spiraled drastically downward. So
Was it April 1st?
April Fool's Day, yes.
Oh my God.
April 1st.
So it's funny there, Russell.
It was, I know, it was because it was the end of a quarter, so it was cleaner, but I'm like, yeah, it's very appropriate given what happened. So
That's amazing.
here is kind of the miracle of my life, okay? Because there was a huge upside to this, which was we in the fall, everything began to get very difficult in the U.S. economically. And I've kind of talked to some business people and bankers here, and I don't think it was nearly as bad here in Guatemala because the government didn't buy a lot of mortgage-backed securities, and they were able to kind of, I think the economy still grew, not as much, but still grew a little bit. In the U.S., it was an absolute train wreck. I mean, everything stopped. I had never seen this before. And haven't since. Nobody bought anything. Every business began to struggle. I mean, it was awful. Now, the upside of that was it gave us access to a lot of customers that I could never get before. Okay. So all of these high-end, really great business customers that I had been calling on for years, trying to get them to become my customer, all of a sudden their bank turned their back on them. Okay. So when they needed them, their bank, typically larger banks, shut them off. So then I got all these new customers. Okay. So that was the positive. The negative was at the same time, we started having a lot of loans go bad and we started losing a lot of money.